Okay, here's part 2 of the video lecture, Psychology of Humor. A couple more jokes that I'll spread through here. Hopefully you want to hear this joke. This might be one of my favorites. What did the girl mushroom say to the guy mushroom? Let you think about that for just a second. Gee, you sure are a fun guy. Get it? A fun guy. Mushroom is a fungus. Plural of that is fungi. Okay, I'll move on. Okay, you want to jot this down. I'm going to adjust my camera one more time here because I'm having a problem capturing all this. There we go. Articles in popular press and medical journals frequently report that laughter is a lot like exercise. It, again, reduces stress. It can improve your tolerance to pain. I have a friend, a colleague who is a psychologist, and he works in pain management. He helps people deal with chronic pain that medications have a hard time even touching. And one of the things that he teaches his clients is to laugh. Because if you laugh, those endorphins are released. It can actually improve your tolerance to pain. So that's a wonderful piece of information that he has to give his clients. Also, alter bodily functions such as blood pressure. Laughter can increase muscle activity. It can improve stomach acidity. Okay, maybe a few more jokes. This might be my very, very favorite. I heard if you drink a bottle of Windex, it keeps you from taking all your clothes off and running around in your neighborhood without any clothes on. You might think, well, how can drinking Windex keep you from running around your neighborhood nude? Well, it says right on the bottle, prevents streaking. Get it? Yeah. Okay, some of you are rolling your eyes still. That's fine. It's okay. It's alright. And you obviously don't have to write the jokes down. I'm just getting that out there again. I'm not going to test you on the jokes. A man was at a graveyard. He began to moan. Why did you die? Oh, why did you have to die? The passerby knelt down next to the man and said, was this person very close to you? No, I actually never met him, replied the man. Why are you moaning then? Asked the passerby curiously. He was my wife's first husband. I just thought that was kind of funny. And there you have it. Okay, here's one that you'll want to take some notes on. Capture with your phone. Laughter is credited with increasing the release of endorphins. We've mentioned that a couple of times, which is the body's natural painkiller. It also protects against depression. So the more you laugh, the less likely you are to experience clinical depression. Although the physiology and molecular biology of these traits are far from understood, we have good reason to believe that the operation and effects of those factors follow certain paths, such as the secretion of endorphins in the brain, and the action of similar physiological factors upon virtually every system of the body, and of course upon behavior. So the key thing in that slide is the endorphins are the body's natural painkillers and protect us against depression. And we know, again, that there's positive impact. Laughing and smiling are so important to us that in our fantasies we ascribe such abilities to these animals. Like when you look at Disney characters, cartoons, you see them often laughing. Now, again, this is one you're going to want to have in your notes for sure. Moods or states. The first point here, I mean, we all have different moods, different, dispositions, even if you will. While an ill-humored person, like the serious one, may not want to be involved in humor, the person in a sad mood may not be able to do so, even if he or she would like to. So that's the thing as a therapist that I have to be really careful of. If you have an ill-humored person, this is someone who just has no sense of humor. You guys can probably think of people who they never laugh at anything because nothing is funny to them. I feel very sorry for them. It's different from the person who is maybe depressed or just in a sad mood. Sometimes if you're really sad or upset, you're not going to laugh at stuff that you normally would laugh at. Think about it. Have you ever been in a really bad mood, had a crappy day, and your friend's trying to cheer you up, telling you funny stories, trying to crack jokes, trying to get you to laugh, and normally you would, but it's just making you even madder. You're just like, stop. Just no, don't do it. that's kind of how that works. So your mood or your state is going to impact your perception of humor. Second point, also, while the sad person is not antagonistic to a cheerful group, the ill-humored one may be. And what does that mean? Well, someone who is depressed or just sad, they're not going to be upset that other people are laughing and having a good time. That's not going to offend them. They're not going to protest that. However, a person who has no sense of humor whatsoever, just generally speaking, may have a problem with other people laughing at jokes and just may not think that it's appropriate or that it's just annoying. A bad mood, third point, bad mood might also be a disposition facilitating certain forms of humor, such as mockery, irony, cynicism, and sarcasm. And we'll talk a little bit about what those mean here. Depression. People who are clinically depressed do not laugh nearly as much as people who are not depressed. These are good things to write down or to capture on your phone if you would rather. People who are clinically depressed do not find humor in things they would normally laugh at. Now, there are different types of humor that we could talk about, and there are, I think, 4 major types here that I'm going to bring to you at this point. The first one, and you'll want to jot these down or take pictures of these with your phone, or however you want to do it. Affiliative humor, involves the tendency to say funny things, to tell jokes, and to engage in spontaneous, witty banter. We all engage in affiliative humor. I do that a lot. I try to tell jokes. Funny things come to my mind when I'm teaching, and I try to throw them out there. Sometimes they work in class, and sometimes they don't. But we all kind of do this. So that's one type of humor. Self-enhancing humor, which can actually be used as a coping mechanism. Aggressive humor. This involves sarcasm, teasing, ridicule, depression, put-downs, or disparagement. If you've ever seen stand-up comedians, a lot of them make fun of people, tease people, put them down in a funny, joking way. That is aggressive humor. Some people are okay with that. They laugh at it. Some people are not. I happen to be a person who really doesn't mind that. I can actually enjoy being the butt of someone's joke. Doesn't really bother me. I remember I went on my honeymoon with my wife. We went to Disney World, and we went to a stand-up comedy show. And the headliner was a pretty big name, and we got lucky enough to sit on the very front row of this comedy show, which was a mistake. Well, not really a mistake, but he immediately pointed us out and asked where we were from. And when I told him we were from West Virginia, he immediately turned to sarcasm and teasing and ridicule. When I said, yeah, we're from West Virginia, his next response was, oh, so you married your sister, right? So a lot of people would be offended by that. I thought it was funny, and I knew he was just joking, so I kind of played along with him and said, yep, this is my sister. Come here, sis. Give me a kiss. And we just kind of played back with him a little bit. But some people would be offended by that. And self-defeating humor. This is when people allow themselves to be the butt of other people's jokes. So again, some people can deal with these different types of humor. Some people are more touchy and sensitive. So we kind of have to be careful when we're doling out the humor, if you will. Okay, sarcasm. To say something contrary or opposite to what you feel and or believe for the purpose of being funny. A lot of people we all use sarcasm at one time or another. It's a large component of social interaction and conversation. A lot of us will use sarcasm to demonstrate a sense of humor or maybe to break the ice during initial encounters with people. This is, again, it's saying something contrary to what you feel or believe. Like, boy, this test was really easy, wasn't it? I mean, I hear students tell me that. They really don't believe the test is easy. They're being sarcastic. So, there you go. Why do we use sarcasm? To hide insecurities. And you'll want to have these written down. This last slide that I just showed you, as well as this one, you'll want to have these. So we use sarcasm to hide insecurities. We use it to gauge others' feelings about people or situation. I've heard students in first day of class will be like, yeah, I've heard about this teacher. I hear he's a real jerk, Or I hear this class is really stupid. it's sarcasm because they don't really know anything about the class. They're trying to gauge other people and engage other people to see what they say. Yeah, I've heard this class is hard too, or yeah, I've heard this class is not a good class, or yeah, I hear he's pretty okay, or yeah, I hear actually it's a pretty easy class. It's not really that bad. So we can use it in that way. Sometimes we use sarcasm simply to be funny, or to gain acceptance from other people. Some research on sarcasm, you want to have these. Toplak and Katz discovered that sarcasm, when judged by the non-perpetrator, was perceived to be aggressive and mean. So if you're on the receiving end of the sarcasm, if I walk in, I think I look really nice, I've got new clothes on, and my students are like, wow, you look really hip, Mr. Dean, you look really nice, and they laugh, roll their eyes, I can figure out they're being sarcastic. So if I was real sensitive, if I was touchy about that, then I might perceive that to be aggressive or mean. They also discovered that sarcasm, when judged by the perpetrator, in other words, the person doling out the sarcasm or offering it, the majority of the time they say, well, I just was trying to be funny, or just to break the ice or to start conversation. Generally, people who use sarcasm are not trying to hurt other people's feelings. A little bit more on sarcasm and we'll close this part down. You'll want to jot this down. Reaction time studies have been done to show how long it takes sarcastic and literal comments to be processed. Sometimes it takes us 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 seconds to figure out, wait a minute, that was sarcasm, wasn't it? Some studies have found that it takes longer for sarcastic comments to be processed as opposed to their literal counterparts. When I say literal, this is just a benign statement that means what it means. Like, this laptop that I'm using right now is black. That's literal. It is. So it doesn't take long to process that. In addition, sarcastic remarks also require additional cognitive processing. The brain has to do more work figuring out the underlying messages. So it takes a little bit longer to weed through that. And we're going to call that the end of this part. Thanks.